In this video, I'm going to show you how to create the Alteryx Adventure form. We use Microsoft Forms for this because we're an Office 365 shop. And Forms is the easiest way for us to capture responses from our Alteryx adventurers. So the first thing that I want to do is create a new group form. And the reason why I want to create a group form is so that when screenshots are uploaded, they will be saved into the group's 365 account, and basically just saves me some storage space on my own personal 365 account. So let's go ahead and create the form. The easiest way to do that is to scroll down here and to select the group that you want to create the form in. And now I can click New Group Form. And in this, I'm going to give the form a name, Alteryx Adventure. And I'm going to give it a brief description and just a prompt to the user as to what they're expected to do. Excellent. Now what I'm going to do is set up the questions first. So I'll set them all up and then I'll come back and do the branching after they're all created. So the first thing that I want to do is a choice. And the question I want to ask is, please choose the challenge you have completed. And in here, I'm going to give the options for that we have in terms of the challenges we ask our adventurers to complete. So the first one is the getting started learning path. The next one is weekly challenge. The next one is a certification. Next one, your post marked as a solution on Alteryx community. Led a brown bag session. And our final one, Alteryx community program member. Now this one has caused a little bit of confusion for our adventurers, but basically what this is something like the participant or the adventurer is a say an Alteryx innovator, or has received an Alteryx Excellence Award, or maybe is an Alteryx Ace or something like this. And this is one of our accelerator pathways in combination with core certification as well. Alright, so now let's add some of the rest of the questions. So we'll add another choice, and then we'll ask which level of certification did you achieve? And at the moment we only ask them to do 2 levels of certification, core and advanced. We don't include expert just because it is so much more challenging, and it's not really the level of analyst that we expect to have. And if we did put expert in there, it would become this giant, great challenge to overcome that not many people would be able to do, and therefore, they would lose interest in the adventure. So the next one is, what difficulty was the challenge you completed? and there are 3 different difficulties. So beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Excellent. And then we'll have another question. And this one's going to be a file upload. And basically it's prompting us that they will create a folder in our SharePoint site, which is fine. So all of our screenshots that are uploaded will be uploaded into the same file that we can access. And it's also prompting us that the responder names and file details are automatically recorded in SharePoint. That's fine. We need to know who the responder is anyway. So in this one, we're going to go, please upload a screen grab showing the successful completion. If I could spell completion. And we only really want them to upload 1 at a time, and we're happy with that default size limit as well. Really, a picture should never be that large, but you know. Our next one, we're going to ask them to provide some text. Please provide a URL link to your post. And the final one that we're going to ask is text as well, but we're going to allow a long answer. And this is so that they can provide some feedback or learnings or any reflections that they have on the challenge. So please share your feedback, learning and or reflections on this challenge. So we've got all of our questions set up now. So what we'll now do is we'll set up the branching. And the way that we can do that is by selecting a question and then choosing add branching. And basically this will allow us, based on their selection to the first question, to alter how the form flows from here on out. So on the getting started learning path, we expect to receive a screenshot of that. So we'll jump them to the screenshot question. In the weekly challenge, we'll ask them what the difficulty of the challenge was. In the certification, we'll ask them what level of certification they achieved. For the post marked as solution on Alteryx community, we'll ask them to provide the URL. For the brown bag session, we ask them to provide a screenshot. That could be a screenshot of something like the meeting invitation or the recording link, the recording itself, anything like that. And for the Alteryx community program member, we'll also ask them for a screenshot as well. Now, we also need to set the branching on these other questions so that they don't need to fill out everything. So what we're going to do with the certification is we're going to ask them to, we're going to jump them to screen grab so that they can provide a screenshot of the certification. For the difficulty of the challenge, we're going to send them to the URL link question. For the screen grab, we don't really need any more info after this, so we're just going to send them to question 6. And we can leave question 5 as it is because it will automatically go to question 6 as well. So we've added all of our branching and the questions now. So what we can now do is preview the form just to make sure that branching works as we expect it to. So I'm going to click on this preview button, and now getting started learning path takes us straight to the screen grab. Fantastic. The weekly challenge asks us to select the type of challenge that we've completed, and then a URL link once we've selected one of those. That's great. Certification. It allows us to select core or advanced and then ask for a screen grab. Fantastic. Post marked. I'll fix that. It asks for a URL link. Let a brown bag session, the screen grab as well. And community program member also asks for a screen grab. So all of that branching is working as we expect it. I'm just going to jump in here and fix this spelling mistake that I had. And that's that. That's the form created. Later on down the track, you're going to need to share this form so that people can submit their answers. And we also want to restrict the forms so that only people in our organization can respond. We want to record the name of the respondee, but we also want to allow multiple responses as well. So that's been set up correctly for us at the moment. And we don't have any requirement to limit options for responses at all. The other thing is later on, after the submission goes through approval, the submitter will get a email notification basically confirming whether or not we've accepted or rejected their submission. So we don't need to respond to our recipients here either. So those settings are all correct for us. And what we can do now is that we can grab this URL and add it onto our team's site or share it out to our potential adventurers to start receiving our responses. That's it for setting up the adventure form. What we'll be setting up next is a SharePoint list. And then once we have the SharePoint list, we can set up the Power Automate flows that take the responses from this form and push it into SharePoint, and then triggers an approval flow after it's in SharePoint as well. So that's it, and we'll hope to see you in setting up the SharePoint list.